Well, go on, good people. Welcome to Selection of Sports once again. I'm JC Kamal,
I'm Aminur.
and in this section, we are just gonna quickly go through the managers that have been appointed as new managers to Premier League clubs in recent weeks. We're gonna start with the best one, who has changed the team to become a very good footballing team in a matter of weeks. That would be Arteta, Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. He has transformed them into a very good footballing team. Did you see the match against Manchester United?
I didn't see that one, but yeah, I read the match report and there were positive things that were said.
Most definitely, definitely a very good manager. I was surprised to see them play so well and have such good tactics. Their tactics were reminiscent not just of Manchester City's tactics, but of Barcelona when Pep Guardiola was there. More so Barcelona than Manchester City.
Yeah,
Especially without the ball.
Arteta is a graduate of La Masia, which is the Barcelona academy. He's a graduate, or he's a student of Arsene Wenger
And David Moyes.
And he worked under Guardiola for the last couple of years. So, and also when they appointed him, it seemed like he had a clear idea of what he wanted from the players, and he
changed the energy.
Yeah, and it looked like he would be a firm but fair coach, and I think that is something that these players needed.
And a coach, especially, that's what some of them definitely need to be. Because a lot of them Arsenal players are actually good, world-class players that play for their international teams, likes of Torreira, even Granit Xhaka plays for Switzerland on a regular basis. So if you can get these players that play for their international, are good enough to play for their international teams, to playing well, coach them into do good, especially like him, a good defensive midfielder, he could do very good things at Arsenal, very good things indeed. And they're not far behind the other teams
Champions League
in the Champions League places, such as Chelsea and Manchester United,
who are not playing particularly well.
They're definitely dropping points.
Yeah.
So things are definitely on the up for Arsenal, and they're still in the Europa League.
Yeah.
So they still could win that, and they still could go through. At this moment in time, they haven't played in the FA Cup. They do play a good team, but they haven't played it. So they still could have a good cup run.
Yeah.
So it still could be a good season for Arsenal, regardless of that. A team that it probably won't be a good good season for, as it's never really a good season for them. They were just speaking about the pride of North London, the team that tends to win trophies for fans of North London, if you live in North London or if you're a fan of North London. But the flip side of that is that you have the B team, as I like to call them, Tottenham, and they appointed Jose Mourinho as manager. It started off quite well for him, winning a few games, but not going so well at the moment. Why do you think that is?
I think that Mourinho has always been about results over the aesthetic of the game, and in these times it's very difficult to sell the defensive football as a product. And I think also as a character he can be abrasive at times, so all those elements, when you put them together, they can be a recipe for disaster, as we have seen in the last couple of jobs that he's had.
Been sacked quite a few times recently.
Yeah.
So one of the things that will definitely hinder him is Harry Kane being injured once again.
Yep, and Mbele is also injured at the moment.
And
So that's two big players.
and Alderweireld and Vertonghen are not doing very well in defence.
Yeah, they haven't been on as good form as they have been in previous years, I would say.
They did scrape through to the Champions League final last season, which they lost again in. Do you think that they were that good a team to be in the Champions League final, or was it just that they were very lucky to be in that final, and we're now seeing how they're not really that good a team in the first place?
I think you make your own luck. I mean, I think every team requires a little bit of luck to get to the final. And yeah, they did have decisions that went in their favour, like the Sterling offside, and I think against Ajax. Well, Ajax was a young team. If they played a bigger their team, they probably would have lost. But also, I would say Tottenham haven't been able to sign many players recently, so I think there's also a level of stagnation going on there, and
Paying for this new stadium.
yeah, and what I think when you're progressing, I think you keep needing to add players, as Liverpool have done with Takumi Minamino.
Yeah, he was
They're world
rubbish.
champions in the game.
Yeah, he didn't really do much at all.
Well, it's his first game in English football. But yeah, as I was saying, you need to keep refreshing the squad and adding players as the Invincibles added Rares, etc. This is necessary to keep the players who you.
And they ain't even won anything.
Yeah, you need to have to keep the players on top of their game, on their toes, thinking, "Oh my God, what's going to happen next? They brought this new player in. I'm going to lose my spot." If you don't bring these players in, then they get comfortable and they think their spot is guaranteed, etc.
Or want to leave, as Ericsson does.
Yeah, at some point you need to start winning, or the players are gonna want to go somewhere where they can show something after they've finished their career, and they can say, "Okay, I've won this and this and this." Nobody wants to retire with nothing to show for it.
Anyway, so that's the Tottenham North London B team. Don't need to go too much into them because we don't want to bring down the tone of the show.
Yeah.
And this is another one we won't go too much into. This next managerial appointment. Because not a fan of him. I don't think you're a fan of him either, are you? Nigel Pearson.
Nigel Pearson. I don't really know very much about him, but
other than his sons are racist.
yeah, that's all I know so far.
So if his sons are racist, his son was probably influenced a lot by him. So he could tell his son not to be a racist, and his son would not be a racist. But his son is. So maybe he following suit from things that he heard in the household when he was growing up under the tutelage of Nigel Pearson. So I'm not that big
it's
a fan of
possible.
him. What do you think of personal things aside? What do you think of his footballing style and what he's doing at Watford?
Well, he's galvanized the team, and they have picked up a little bit of form. So perhaps we can expect them to survive after sacking 2 managers this season. It looks like maybe he has brought some stability and a little bit of motivation to the Watford team or Watford squad. So on the footballing side, it looks a little bit more positive than what they had previously, which was no fight. Yeah, I don't really know very much about Pearson, so but from what I've seen, it looks better than what they had before, at least.
Anyway, I'm not even going to say what I was actually thinking about Watford because it's not very nice. Championship football for you and Nigel Pearson. Anyway, moving on to Everton,
Mm.
who were just terrible yesterday in the FA Cup.
Very bad.
Got shamed by Liverpool's youngsters. Ancelotti being Carlo Ancelotti being appointed manager of Everton. You really like Ancelotti, don't you? I don't think he's very good anymore.
Yeah, I do rate him. I think as a person, and as a coach, and as a leader as well. I mean, it's to be seen if he can do anything at Everton. It looks like they're going to back him with quite a decent amount of money, but he has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, 'cause
Judging
they're
by
rubbish.
judging by the loss against Liverpool's reserves, and those Liverpool reserves did make those veteran Everton players look quite ordinary.
Yeah, well, the Everton players made them Everton players look ordinary because they just didn't do anything. They had opportunities,
Yeah.
and if they actually strung some passes together and played like a quality team and didn't misplace passes and do stupid things in a football pitch, they may have actually won that game. Because they didn't really, in the first half they did, but in the second half they didn't test. But anyway,
Yeah.
Ancelotti thinks that he has said that he wants to get them into the Champions League. I don't think that will happen with that squad, and the fact that he's just not as good as he was back in the day. Do you think that will happen? When you consider that the other teams that are already in Champions League spots or doing well.
Yeah, and also everybody else is going to spend money. I highly doubt it, but strange things happens.
Mm.
So it's not out of the realms of reality. It's just highly unlikely.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Not with the likes of Calvert-Lewin as your main striker.
Yeah.
Another team that hasn't been doing too well in recent times, that the fans would say they have underachieved, would be West Ham United.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons they underachieved is because they appointed Pellegrini as their manager. Should never have done that. Do you think that David Moyes will do a better job?
I think so. Moyes has experience of that level of football club, similar to Everton, a club with a lot of history, a lot of tradition. And I think Moyes has experience of, that kind of relegation dogfight that maybe a foreign coach like Pellegrini, who's used to the other side of the table, the top side of the table, may not be able to deal with. And also he's got a far less quality squad than he had at Manchester City, for example.
He did try and buy some players, but it just didn't work for him. Shamed himself and West Ham United. Should never have shouldn't have gone there. They should have just kept David Moyes in the first place, really.
Yeah,
Giving him some time. Hopefully they will do that this time. If he keeps them up in the Premier League, hopefully they will keep him on for at least another season at least.
Yeah, I think they might do that, because if the coach has done a good work, I'm guessing that he has some credit in the bank with the owners or the people in power in the club, so he should deserve a little bit of a chance to see what he can do for the following season.
Yeah, I think he will do a lot better than Pellegrini, even though West Ham are quite pants at the moment. They could do better.
They did get some big results, like the 1-0 win at Chelsea, at Stamford Bridge. A couple of wins here and there, but there were too many losses.